this morning. Just realized one of my buttons wasn't done. Hope you're all doing wonderful this morning. For those of you that are new, my name is Red Moon Eagle, and you are watching Daily Devotions with Red Moon Eagle, and I welcome you all. It's wonderful to have you all. Love it if you hit the like and subscribe button as you watch this. If something inspires you or makes you feel good or it resonates with you, I'd love comments. Comments really help the algorithm. Hitting like, there's actually a little drop down when you hit subscribe, and you can select the alarm button, and that will give you notices when I post, hey, I'm going to be live this morning, this is what time. I've been pretty consistent when I've gone live recently that I'm kind of normally around 6:30-ish. So that seems to be the trend right now. If it changes, I'll let you know. I want to read a little bit from Celtic Devotional this morning because I was reading this myself. The spring quarter of Imbolc brings the gift of insight and inspiration. It is a time of beginnings and essential truthfulness. Begun in the dark and often icy days of early spring, it is traditionally the time to appreciate innocence, truth, and justice, to make resolution and plans, and to prepare for the unfolding year. In the human growth cycle, Imbolc represents the period of childhood, when all things are questioned or enjoyed for their own sake. Imbolc is a good time to celebrate the lives of all soul midwives who have taught and prepared us, all who have been upholders of justice and truth, all holy ones who have gone to the heart of the matter with clarity and insight. I just thought it was really pretty. And then I read this, and I wanted to share it. I arise today in the name of the gatherer of hope, the bringer of springtime and the brightener of seasons. I kindle my soul, the hearth fires of the kindler of souls. Breath of love, breath of light, breath of life. Be upon the embers of my spring-awakened soul. Preserve my soul in gladness. May it flame forth with the sun's returning glory. I love that. I just wanted to read that this morning to start us off. Okay, in the Sacred Self-Care book, we have alone time. And the mantra is, I make time to focus on myself. Joyously explore your alone time. Joyously, not jealously. Joyously explore your alone time. Think about what you would like to do in solitude, then plan so that your time is freed up and your commitments are put on pause. Find peace and stillness by completely tuning in to your own needs. Journal prompt. How does having alone time make you feel? What emotions and memories come up for you when you're alone? Isn't that beautiful? Okay, I'm going to come back to that one. Spirit Animal Guidebook. Woohoo! Zebra. Woohoo, zebra. Eccentric, creative, and visionary. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They are young at heart, well-cultured, and have an undying curiosity about life. Being in the company of a zebra personality not only is a delight, but also opens your minds. Be prepared, for their potent magic is contagious, and you might find yourself in a faraway land expanding your worldview while having a blast. Zebras also like to contribute to the global health through environment or volunteer work. This card may be a hint to pack your bags. When in balance, worldly, enthusiastic, and fashion-forward. When out of balance, jaded, pouty, vain. To bring into balance, an epic adventure and art. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. I love zebras. Hello, Suffy. It's wonderful to have people join in the morning. Okay, next card. 59, the upper world. The essence of this card. Divine helpers, ancient ones, and all varieties of luminous beings populate the upper world. It is the place where you go to retrieve your destiny and find out who you will become. Discover your great potentials and undreamt of possibilities. It is also a place where the spirits of the dead arrive when they complete their journey to the light. The invitation of this card, the upper world is calling you to step into your fully realized self, clear distractions so that you can move into a higher destiny. Do not fall to the temptation to craft a slightly more improved version of yourself. What you perceive as a problem or an obstacle is in fact an irritation. You need to take the great leap. Remember, you cannot cross the Grand Canyon into small jumps. The medicine of this card, asking your divine helpers for guidance. If the oracle has already spoken to you, take what you need that is offered. Now you must deal with the lethargy and idleness. While support for new destiny is not yet in place, new destination is available to you if you act now. I love how some of these cards are so apt when you put them all together. It's amazing. Okay. Time alone. I'm going to read the mantra again. I make time to focus on myself. Joyously explore your alone time. And the journal prompt says, how does having time alone make you feel? What emotions and memories come up when you're alone? I think we've talked about alone a couple times, I feel, recently, but we're going to come back to that. And then Zebra, eccentric, creative, and visionary. Open your mind, be prepared. Their magic is contagious, and you find yourself expanding your worldview while having a blast. When in balance, worldly, enthusiastic, and fashion forward. When out of balance, jaded, pouty, vain. To bring into balance an epic adventure and art. So I'm going to talk about Zebra here in a minute, a little bit more, because zebras and I get along great. Okay, upper world, divine helpers, varieties of luminous beings, a place where you retrieve your destiny, find out who you will become, discover your potentials. Step into your fully realized self, clear distractions so you can move to a higher destiny. And the medicine is you have to deal with the lethargy and idleness. While you support for the new destiny is not yet in place, new destination is available if you act now. Okay, so one of the things when I was going through these cards and I was looking at them is that I think I talked about this the other day. Alone time is also being okay with silence. You don't have to have silence in alone time, but silence is an aspect of alone time, I think. For many people it is, especially if it's challenging, because learning how to be in that place of peace is a place of silence. And that place of silence leads you to that place of connection to self. And there is a shadow piece of this alone stuff, because there are people, and I know them, I love them, they are dear friends of mine, but I know people who have a really hard time being alone. They don't like that at all. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to be alone all the time. Like, there are connectors, there are people out there that they love that just being in the room with someone else, that connection is what they like. I remember when my husband and I first got together, one of the things that we both really liked about the very beginning of our relationship is that we talked about how we could sit in a room with each other. We didn't have to have this big, long, intense conversation. We didn't have to do a lot of things to be together. I mean, yeah, we do a lot of things together, but we don't have to have that to have togetherness. Togetherness is being together in a space. And yet at the same time, we both crave alone time. We both crave it. We both need the balance of having someone in our life, but also having time alone. Now, when I was reading about zebra, I have to tell you a story about a zebra. So I knew a lady a while ago, and she had horses and mules and donkeys and zebra. She had all these four-legged lovely friends, and she had a zebra. And she also had a horse zebra bred together. Very interesting fellow. Oh, he was a very interesting fellow. They are not like people animals. They prefer their kind. They prefer other horses, or, humans are kind of mean to them, so they don't traditionally like humans, but this guy was fascinating. Anyway, so she had this zebra. He was quite a bit older. He had been rescued from somebody's private zoo. It was an awful background story. And he walked right up to me. And, you know, I'm just out walking in the field with her, and we're like talking to the horses and stuff. And there was a mule that decided to walk behind me. He just was fascinated. And there was a zebra, and she told me, she says, you know, he's going to stay on the other side of the field. He doesn't like other humans. She goes, he didn't even like me. Like, he's had a rough life. And I don't know what he saw, but he had been watching us, and he turned, pivoted, and ran straight for us. Like, he was coming fast. And even she said, like, we may have to get between him and us. And there was another horse that was kind of walking beside us. She was like, maybe we should get on the other side of the horse. And I'm very respectful of animals, because I don't know what they're thinking unless they share it with me. And I have to respect animals that are traditionally not domesticated, because they have different perceptions, they have different needs and wants, and you have to be very respectful of animals. I mean, I always laugh a little bit about the people who are trying to go up and pet the buffalo in the Yellowstone, and then they wonder why they get mauled. I'm like, anyway. And so one of the other things that I kind of knew standing there is that he was gonna stop. He was testing. And so he kept coming, and I grabbed her hand, and I said, you know, we've got Macy here. Macy was her dog, and he was a border collie. He's like a herding dog, and all the animals loved Macy. But Macy was standing right in front of us, and she wasn't upset. She wasn't tense, nothing. And the zebra came right up, like, and then skidded, and then stopped, and snorted, and then completely relaxed every muscle in its body, and gently leaned his head out. And he was looking right at me, and I did this with my hand. I just put my hand out, just not very far from my body, because I was like, okay, is he gonna bite me? Like, I feel like there's a hello here. I put my hand out, and he like blew on my hand and rubbed his muzzle up against my hand. And it was the most beautiful experience. And he just stood there for a few minutes. And my friend, she was like, what the hell just happened? And I could tell that she was really stiff. She didn't say anything. And I didn't know what the zebra's name was, but I just gently said, you know, I welcome you. I'm glad to meet you. Thank you for showing me your joy, and your power and your connection. And he started to snort and shake his head, and he made this sound. I didn't know zebras made a different sound, but he made a sound, and to me it sounded like he was laughing. And he kind of pranced around, and then he stayed about, I don't know, 15, 20 feet from us as we walked the entire field. And my friends like had been talking really loud, and she'd been talking to all the horses, and she's got a really loud voice, and she got really quiet. She was like, oh my God, this is so weird. I've never had him do this before. So zebras can show you a whole new way. And that's what I got from them. I got this joyous experience of this zebra saying hello, and also that they have their own way of looking at things. And if they like you, they like you. If they don't like you, they don't like you. And she was telling me some of his personality, and she would say something, and he would shake his head, and like he was agreeing or disagreeing. And I've had these amazing experiences with different animals, and that was one of probably my favorites. So when zebra card came up, I was like, oh my goodness. And then this other card about upper world, about divine entities. So they're all tied together, but one of the things with divine entities that I think people get confused is they want to lump all divine entities together. Because yes, are you gonna come and join? Are you gonna join me, Astra? You're trying to figure out who I'm talking to. She's so funny. You gonna come sit? So divine entities, they often get all lumped in together, like every single one of them is the same. And there's a lot of different kinds, but then there's a lot of entities that are not, they are themselves, I guess is the best way of saying it. They are themselves and they are unique. And many times we have contracts with some of these types of entities, but you could have had an entity that's followed you from lifetime to lifetime to help you untangle karma. And it's the same entity from lifetime to lifetime, but it's a different, it's the same kind of entity and it is the same entity. So its own consciousness, its own self. And we lump a lot of these divine entities into a category, and I'm gonna pick on angels right now, just because that's a word I hear all the time. And there are different kinds. There's different kinds of these divine entities, and not every single angel is Michael or whatever. There's different kinds, different types, I guess. Anyway, so one of the big things that I got from these cards is your alone time can also be the time where you discover yourself and you allow your wildness to come out and your authentic experience and perception of an event, and find the joy of who you are. Find who you are and what your self is. And you can do that. You can do that when you love yourself. Loving yourself is accepting that you have connection to divine and you're part of divine. And we are not unconnected. We are all connected to Mother Earth. We are all connected to her entities. And when you allow yourself to recognize the divine sentience in all living things, you even have more of an opportunity to have that connection. Even when you think you're alone, you're connected. You are receiving that love and that universal place of peace connection in your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions. And we all have the opportunity to talk to our guides, and we all have the ability to recognize these divine entities that are connected into our blueprints, because we all have them. I don't think I've ever met anybody who doesn't have some kind of upper level entity, what they like to call an upper world entity. I argue with some of these upper lower qualifications. It's as though somebody's better or worse than someone else, and that's just not how that is. Because I have met people who have a variety of kinds of entities that they want to be heard too. And we all have the ability to communicate with our guides, don't we, Astra? She's sitting right here on the edge of the table going, look at me, talk to me. What do you need? What is it, Astra? You don't want the lap? What are you doing? She's got me puzzled right now. What are you doing? So I think the big thing about today's cards is learning to cherish that time you have alone with yourself and recognize that you aren't ever truly alone. We all have Mother Earth to connect to. We all have the ability to have these amazing animal entities to connect to. We all have these divine watchers in our blueprint, these wonderful entities that have chosen to be with us, to help us in this realm. So you're never really alone. And find the adventure in communicating with your guides. Find the adventure and the joy of connecting with new experiences with animal entities, and let them show you what they do best. Let them show you what their joy and their gift is to you, especially if you have animal companions like I have this beautiful Astra. She is always showing me new things. And she's always going, I'm going to do a new thing, Mom. She actually brought me she's been bringing me her little balls to throw every morning now. She doesn't bring them to me in her mouth, but she does kick them so that they come over to me so I can throw them. So I hope you all have a beautiful day this morning. Have great joy. Have this wonderful connection to your guides, to animals around you. Let them love you. Let them share with you. Let them show you some lesson. Let them give you this glimpse of Mother Earth herself. There is divine sentience. There is connection to Mother Earth and all living things, whether it be the stones and crystals, whether it be the cotton shirt you're wearing, whether it be the animal companion in your lap, whether it be all of the paper from all the books you read. These all things have connection. They all have the spark of connection to Earth herself. And when you look at living things, oh, I'm not paying attention. It's bath time. Give me kisses or bathing me? I hope you all have a beautiful morning. I love you. Blessed be, and I will see you in prayer.